To make the pattern for the pulley, I got a scrap of MDF, and I'm just going to mark out the center of it. Alright, so that's my center, and I'm going to make a pattern that will do a pulley that's 12 inches in diameter. So I'm going to set my compass to, let's see, right at 6. Because that's the radius. Well, I moved. Okay. Could have used a sharper pencil. This one's going to work though. Okay, so now I'll go to the bandsaw and I'll cut this out on that line. I got a piece of particle board on here, and I've got a little bit of a piece of wood underneath it to raise it up. And remember, this is a pattern for aluminum, so it's got to have draft on the sides. In other words, it's got to be sloped so we can pull it out of the sand when we make our pattern. Okay, so now we're going to get all this sanded to the line. Alright, I got these cut out, and I laid these out just like I did this big one, except I just used a smaller compass to draw them out with. So I got these cut out and I've got them sanded. They've got a little bit of draft on the edge. I don't know if you can see that or not, but there's a little bit of a gap right there. Doesn't take much. Okay, so I'm going to give these a quick sand. And then the other thing we've got to do is glue. This is going to be the hub where you put in the set screw. So I got to get these put in the center. But all right, let me get these sanded. All right, these are a little over 1.5 inches. Now I laid them out with this compass, so if I put this in the middle and draw it out, hopefully okay, well, I'll make it a little bit bigger. We'll try that. I want to get these pretty much centered. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, I'll get these glued on. Alright, we'll set those aside and let them dry. The glue's dry, and I'm going to put some fillets on here. I'm just using Durham's water putty. I like use, a lot of people use Bondo and some other things, but you know, Bondo's, I just found Bondo more expensive and it stinks. And I mean, this is, you know, a 1 pound can of this is like $2 at Home Depot. So, and you mix it with water, mix it to the consistency that you want. And just smear it on here. It gets rock hard when it's dry. All right, that's got the fillets put on. We'll let that dry and give them a little sanding and then paint them. All right, our fillets are dry. It actually should be really dry because, truth be told, it is several weeks later. I spent about right after I did this, I spent 3 weeks trying to fix my tractor. It broke. Finally gave up on that, wound up buying a new one. So it's a few weeks later. But anyway, okay, so we're gonna get these sanded. Okay, I think that's smooth enough now. We'll get some coats of paint on there. All right, I'm gonna get these out here and get a coat of spray paint on them. And you know, I use, when I'm spraying patterns, spraying patterns mainly because I rarely care what color they are. So I use up remnants of spray paint. This is just some old Rust-Oleum. Around here, Home Depot doesn't sell Home Depot sells Rust-Oleum, and Walmart sells Krylon. And I actually like Krylon quite a bit better. They've got better colors, I think. I think it covers better. But one thing I learned the hard way is you can't mix Rust-Oleum and Krylon. Even after it's dry, if you spray it on there, it'll wrinkle up and come off of there. I don't know if it's, if it was on there for several weeks, but so anyway, I got this ugly color here. I don't know why I bought this. Looks like I've never used it, but I might as well use it up on something like this. I don't know how I'm going to tell when I'm covered. Alright guys, I'm going to get a couple more coats on here, or just however much I think it takes to seal this. I'll give it a light sanding in between, and then hit it with a few more coats, and then we'll come back. Alright, here's our two patterns painted, and I'm going to get this, I'm going to make this smaller mold first. Got that one done. I'm going to make a couple of risers to go on here. Okay, I got this set up, and got the small one over there on the right. This is the large one. You can see, I don't know if you can see or not, but they're kind of set on an incline. I'll fill it from the bottom, and it'll go toward the riser at the top. That way it'll push the air out and hopefully any gas. And then over here, I've got some muffin tins set up to, if I got any left over, which I should. That's been a couple hours. Let's bust this open and see what we got. Yeah, that one looks really good. Alright, let's bust the other one out. Yeah, that looks like that's going to work too. Alright, we'll have to get these sprues cut off and start getting them cleaned up. Alright, I got the 4-inch pulley casting bolted down to the mill, and I'm getting ready to, got it centered. I use my center finder to get this roughly centered. You know, it's a casting, so just as, you know, kind of close. And so I'm getting ready to center drill it, and then I'm going to enlarge it out to probably 9/16, and then we're going to take it up to our diameter of our hole is going to be 3/4. Alright, now I'm going to get set up with the boring bar to bore that hole out to the correct size. Alright, so I got the boring bar set up. We drilled the hole out to 9/16. So now we're going to use the boring bar to get it to the 3/4 dimension that we're looking for. So we're at 50, where are you? 51, 751. Okay, so hopefully that'll work well. All right, I want to put a chamfer on this upper edge. This is a single tooth brooch that I made in another video if you want to see it. See, it's just got one little tooth sticking out the side. I got a video out there that shows how I made it. But I'm going to use this to cut our keyway. Okay, I got to get that tooth back there, and then the only way I know line this thing up. Now bring the table in a little bit and see if both sides of the cutter hit. That looks pretty darn good. Now we're going to go right there and make a cut. And we didn't cut it. Well, we did. Okay. So can you see? Well, you can't see both lines. We'll pull you around here. There. Now you can see both lines. So I know it's pretty much lined up square to my circle. Okay, so sorry for that little seasickness there. Alright, so I'm just touching. So I'm going to reset my dial to 0. And we're going to start working our way in 10 thousandths at a time. Alright, I'm going to go check the machiner's handbook and make sure that 80 is the right depth for a 3/16 keyway. I'll be right back. Okay, machinist's handbook says it's .0804. I don't want to know too worried about that last decimal place. But alright, let's see what we got. There we go. 0.830 and about a half. So we're good. That should give us 80, like 80 and a half, which is what it wants. So, alright, this one is finished. I'm going to do the same thing to the 12-inch pulley. And then after that, next thing we're going to need to do is make a mandrel to put these on. So we can turn them in the lathe and get them finished. Alright, I'm getting ready to put this on the lathe, and I've got to put a set screw in here. And I could probably do this on the mill. But I got to drop the knee all the way to the ground, and then it's such a hassle to get it back up, and you know, and then you got to get a bit long enough to get down here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to punch it. Let's see. I'm going to punch it right there. That's pretty good. Okay, I made a sleeve to make this. This is a number 27 drill bit. So I made a sleeve to go inside of here to hold it. It's just a solid sleeve, and I used the set screws to crush that aluminum down on there. Hopefully I'll be able to get that drill bit back out. But anyway, so I'm just going to try my best. So there's my holes through there. Now let's see. I got lucky, I got it right in the middle. Okay. So, that's a miracle. Now the next thing is I got to try to tap this thing. What I probably can do is put it in this drill. Doesn't really necessarily have to be centered. Okay, that's got that. Okay, so the next thing, we're going to mount it onto the lathe. Alright, so the way I'm mounting it on the lathe is I made an arbor. This is just a piece of trash. It was the old arbor of a lawnmower, and I turned it down so it would fit up in there. And I want it to stick out the back some, so I'm probably going to mount it about like that. Alright, so here we are. I got it mounted in the chuck. You can see how it's mounted in there. And now I'm going to pull in the tailstock, and we'll get it going. Got me a bit in here, and I'm going to get this thing turning. And I can just barely reach out this far, so that's going to be a little bit of a challenge. that's it. And that little spot right here, that'll get out when I cut the groove. So I think we're done on the outside rim. All right, now I'm gonna try to clean up this face right here. You could hear this thing ringing when I was cutting. So I've got a pretty rough cut here on the sides. But, you know, the sides don't even have to be machined. I was just trying to make it look better. But I'm down to 3/4, and I need all of that for my groove. So I'm just going to stop right there and go ahead and put my groove in there and try to get a usable pulley out of this. All right, I got my cutoff tool here, ready to cut a groove. That's got us to a depth of 0.625, which is where we want to be. Okay, I'm going to use the parting tool to clean some more of that out. I looked up this groove in the machiner's handbook, and the angle is 38. So I got my compound set to half of that, which is 19, and I'm going to start taking this down. Do that a few more times and switch to the other side. Getting set up to cut the other side. This is actually a thread cutting bit. We'll see how it does. It's got a flat top to it, so we'll just have to see. It's hard to get a bit that I can get in. I can't go any farther this way, and just having trouble finding something that'll fit in here. Alright, that's got our groove in there. Now we're just going to hit it with a file on the sides. Hey, that's pretty good. So I realized that when I did that first cut, I was using my DRO and it went to 5/8 or 0.625. Well, what I forgot about was that's overall diameter and not each side. So I got to go back and cut all this deeper, but I'm gonna do that off camera.